Hello YouTube. It is Tuesday the 2nd of September now. It's been about 5 weeks since I last posted a video. So in that video I mentioned I was going to do a dry stone building course, which was a 2-day course in County Leitrim. And basically I was down in the Rossinver Organic Centre, which is a lovely little spot in the middle of nowhere. They have organic vegetable patches and a shop and just nice stuff, like a little coffee shop and stuff like that. And what we did was we worked on a wall that had already been started around one of the large vegetable plots, and basically built a bit onto that as part of the course. So different courses are down at different times and they all build a bit of the same wall. Sitting here for the last hour and no traffic, and as soon as I start talking the traffic comes. So I was hoping to be a bit further along with it than where I have got, because August just turned out to be a very busy month. There was so much to do with summer holidays and going places and people staying with us and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not as far along as I would have hoped to have been, but I'm making progress, it's getting there. But I always knew it would be a slow process anyway. So we will have a look at the course and the footage that I did down there, just to show you what I'd learned, and yeah, then I'll show you how far I'm getting here on my end. I also want to give a bit of a shout out to Grania. I know you watch the channel. I hope you're back on your feet and dancing soon. Okay, right. Okay, let's have a look at what happened in Rossinver. So this is the big pile of stone that was delivered from the quarry. They had asked for it to be broken up into more manageable pieces that could be carried by people, but they still sent down these big slabs. Just to show you how big these slabs are. That's my hat. So there's a bit of rock breaking going on with a big sledgehammer, just to get them, down to size. Some of them are okay, but again, they're coming in all shapes and sizes and all thicknesses as well. It's a really nice rock. I think he said that what's here, probably in terms of cost, is about maybe €1,000 worth of rock. Obviously that includes what we took down yesterday. So this is the Organic Centre in Rossinver, and they run these courses every now and again. So what they do is, they're actually, the walls that we're putting up are actually walls that they use here, and you can see how they've started them on previous courses all the way to here. So these are the guys that we put down yesterday, and basically the first thing we did was get a centre line from the existing part of the wall that was already built down to where we were here, establish the width of the base off the centre line, and then the width of the top off the centre line. So this is the frame, which will basically show the shape of the wall. So it's a double battered wall, which means it slopes in on both sides, 600mm at the bottom, 400mm at the top, and then he's tied these guidelines all the way up, just so we can keep an eye on, make sure it's going straight, and then they're actually raised with every level that goes in. So before we left yesterday, we brought down another load of rocks so we can just sort of hit the ground running today. So they're basically all thrown in the wheelbarrow and carried down here. So we'll come back at a lunchtime with a bit of an update and see how we're progressing on with this. Because you can see we're only down to sort of the first and second levels at the moment. And now here we see the rock that I have gathered up from my area,
compared to what we had in Rossinver, it's completely different. You know, down there we had really big, consistent, flat pieces of rock, you know, that were easily managed and easily put together. What I have is a lot smaller, and very inconsistent in terms of shape and size as well. So basically, for me, this is more of a really, really, really big game of Tetris than, you know, working with easy rock that we had down there. So here I'm breaking up a part of an old wall that I dug up. The reason for doing that is because there's some really nice big stones in here, but I don't want the cement that's around them, just so I can keep the wall as natural as possible. So once I had the rocks broken up, I actually went down to each individual stone that was in there and got rid of all the cement around those as well. So basically for these types of walls, there's no such thing as a bad stone. You know, you need every single size that you can get for them. So once I had that done, it was time to start digging out the trench. So at this stage I was just basically eyeballing it, and I wasn't really paying that much attention to straight lines and stuff. You know, I had a rough idea in my head. But as I was digging it out, I discovered another old wall or foundation for a wall or something that was underneath here. Okay everybody, let's do a little progress check here. So I started digging out the trench where I figured I'm going to need a bit of a foundation going along here, and it turns out there already is a foundation along here. Like, this is all solid rock or something that's been laid here before. Now, as I was digging out, I kind of got this feeling that under this pile of rocks here, there may have been a wall at some stage because of the big ones that are just kind of sticking out as they're kind of showing themselves as I've been digging. So hopefully that means that whenever we use up all these rocks and have them in the wall, then there'll be another pile of bigger rocks that we can use then just to top it off or somewhere else. So yeah, this is going all the way up to here. I'm not exactly happy with the kind of mark I put there at the moment because I don't like the angles get into the wall. I'd rather it comes off straight off the wall and then round this way. Hello Ed. Yeah, back again to inspect the work. Always have to get on camera. But the good thing about this is, because there's a foundation here and it's all really solid, it means I don't have to put a new sort of foundation in. I can just start building the wall right on top of it. And there we have it, phase one of the wall base all dug out. So the hard old foundation seems to stop around here. After that there is still a few big rocks, but it's kind of got a bit gravelly and pebbly, which is good as well. Like, it's fine. It's still a very compact base there, so that should be okay.
So I think that's enough for one night. Tomorrow evening I'll come down and finish off this bit as far as where the path meets here, because that's where we're going to leave an opening in the wall, and then it'll be a new wall starting on the other side of that. So I'll get that dug out tomorrow night, and after that then hopefully we can start building. Okay, so I think this is all the digging done now for the first part of the wall. Like I said, it's really hard material under the ground here, so think from the foundation of an old wall or something maybe. Up towards the top corner here, it got very kind of gravelly, which is fine as well. It just means it's a good surface to start building the wall on, and it doesn't really need anything underneath it. Down here, from about here to here, it seems to be just, that's all in terms of topsoil there is, and then you're hitting like hard clay underneath that, so it can't get compacted any more than what it already is as far as I know. So that should be okay for sticking rocks on for the wall as well. So I've dug down as far as where the path meets this side here. Okay, so the idea is that we're going to have an opening here where the path is, so that will allow people just to step up into it, or I might make it a ramp so I can get a lawnmower in or something. I don't know yet. We'll get the wall done first anyway. As always, my little friend is here to watch. Yeah, the one time I want him on camera. Okay, so the next thing is to get my string marker and mark out the centre line of this. I have it pretty straight as it is, give or take a few little wobbles here and there, but I've left myself enough room each side hopefully to get up there. If not, I'll know once I have the string in. Okay, so I've got the first of my guidelines set up here. This stick here is going to be the halfway point of the wall, okay? And then there's 5mm over there. So the reason for doing this is I just want to make sure that I've got a good line for the to keep straight the whole way up. And up towards the back here, I need to just dig out a little bit more, so I'll just show you that quickly. This is why you can never trust your eyes when you're lining up against stuff, because it might look straight, not exactly straight. So where are we? Here's our line, and you can see on this side here, like I've just kind of come inside it a bit, and then up here as well, there's a good bit that needs to come out as well, up to that top part there. So I'm just going to get the little spade out, and I'm going to clear off those lines first, and then I'll check this side. Okay, so I have this corner dug out a bit more now. It's just less of a curve on it after it comes around the bend here. And I've both lines now twined off, so you can see I'm clear the whole way down. So I guess now it's time to start building. Okay, so let's have a little look at what we started with. So this is really the kind of the first course where I've got my corner in, and basically what I'm doing is getting good heavy big stones for the base, like this one and then the big one over here,
And the idea is to get sort of a big one going this way and then another big one going this way, and they kind of overlap a little bit, just to give that sort of, they're called bonding stones, and they give that sort of connection. It's like interweaving your fingers, I suppose, really. And then in between, it's called hearting. So that's the bit that fills out there. So any of the stones then that have a little bit of a wobble in them, we get a smaller stone sticking underneath. That's called a pin to the back. Or if we did it at the front, it would be called a sneck. So basically, this is the plan. I'm going to go the whole way down and get the first run in, and then go back over and keep following the same sort of pattern, really. In a few places, I will be putting what's called through stones. So a through stone will be like this one here, which is a big long stone that goes across all the way through. And again, it just helps the wall bond and stay together, because you've got more friction with more rocks touching off each other. Makes it harder to knock over. So I'm kind of keeping the prettier stones with the nice clean edges to this side, because this is the side that's going to be seen. This side here, I don't really mind if they're rough and ready, and I don't really mind that much if they come outside the line a little bit, because you know they're going to be backfilled up against that, and bigger is better as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so we've got as far now as we're hitting whatever this is under here. So I don't know if it was an old foundation for a wall or if it was part of a wall or not, but you can see there's a bit of a step down there from this to this one. So what I'm having to do is try and find sort of flat stones like this that I can use to just give it a bit of a level-ish surface that will allow me to put sort of bigger ones on top of it and cover the whole area. So it looks like there's going to be a few more places on the way down where we have those steps like that. So I think here beside the hammer, you can see this one really prominently here, another one there, and yeah, I'm not sure why they're kind of at an angle either. They're not parallel to anything, but we'll keep working off that. So this is day 2, like I said, so I've probably done from about here to here over the last hour and a half, I think. So again, it's still really on the first base level that I'm working to, and that's probably, I don't know, maybe just over a third of what I have to do for the first level. But once I get this one down, hopefully it should start getting a bit quicker. Okay, so I think I've done enough for today now. I've been down here for about 4 hours,
It's starting to get hot now because the sun's starting to move around in front of the trees. But good progress. I finished here, so I started up about here, and I just measured it, so I got about 16 feet of that bottom layer done today. And for the whole part of that wall, it's about 2/3, I think. So it is now Tuesday the 19th of August, I think, 2025. So I've just completed the bottom layer of my little dry stone wall here. So it's corded off nicely here, which is going to line up with the path that's over there. Not sure if we're keeping the path or coming over, but there will be a sort of a step up here into the garden area from there. And then I'll probably continue the wall from about here down to where those stones are on that side. But that's it now for the first layer. Hopefully things will move a little bit faster as we're going. It is around 9 o'clock at night now, so we've got a little red sky over there. The sun has set, so it's getting a bit dark, which is why I'm finishing up. It's kind of a bittersweet thing to this, really, because you'll see there's lots of leaves on the ground around the wall, and autumn is setting in. So the summer is over. Hopefully we'll get another good month of weather or so. Usually September's kind of nice around here, you might get an Indian summer. And hopefully by then we'll have it all finished. Okay, so I've got this corner end here almost ready to where I want it, and I've been eyeing up this guy to sit on top of it, okay? The reason why I want that guy on top is because it is the corner. It's kind of a vulnerable piece where, you know, stones could fall out from either end. So with that weighing down that corner, it'll give full rigidity and stability to this end, and then I can start using the top of that then as the line all the way up then to bring up the other levels on it. So like this is a good old weathered stone here. You know, it's nice smooth. It's got good angle corners on it. The only thing is that on the other side, oh, it's heavy. I think you can see underneath there. This was obviously used before for part of a wall because there is cement underneath here. But that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hammer, knock the cement off it, and then see how it looks on the wall. So that's it. Not quite as far as I would hope to have been at this stage, but again, it's all progress. And, you know, when it's done, it's done. So, for myself and from Ed, thanks again for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.